Mike Adebis-Vandriel with GameSpot. I'm at the NASL Season 3 Grand Finals, currently speaking to Clutch, the host and MC of the event. Good to talk to you, Clutch. So this is your first NASL event working at so far. How's your experience been?
It's been really good, honestly. The staff that I've worked for so far today has been on the ball, making sure that they have a good schedule, but also flexible enough for the magic to happen, if you will, of live production. And they're really passionate about what they're doing, and they want to do the best that they can. And to be in that sort of environment is really good. It's just professional.
And just to kind of get out of the way, you recently reached out, kind of posted on Reddit, talked to the community and said, I really want to do this event. And I think you were kind of surprised in terms of how much power this community really has. And I just wanted to get, your comments on what you kind of learned from that whole thing and just your thoughts about the community as a whole.
Well, it was a good lesson that I learned when I let my passion get the better of me. And I made that post to answer a lot of people's questions of if I'd like to go to NASL. And I said, sure, I'd love to host for NASL. And a lot of people have known my work with Major League Gaming. I love Major League Gaming, but I've always been a private contractor, and that means I've been available to host other leagues and do other things like, certain casters do, like DJ Wee and others that are able to offer their services in the esports scene. And I made that post just to pretty much make a statement of, guys, I'd love to do this. This is who I am, but it's NASL's decision. And literally 2 hours later when I checked it and how it was at the top of StarCraft Reddit, I thought, well, this is great to see this kind of to see the community behind me. But I felt bad because in my eyes it looked a little bit unprofessional in that sort of sense of it being so popular. And also, it was never my intention to put NASL in an awkward position. But that being said, my representation, esports management group, myself, and NASL, we had been in talks with NASL before. I had approached NASL way before this post was ever made. Everything was smoothed over, and then they made a decision, and it was to hire me on, so I'm really grateful to be here. But I've learned that, Reddit's great, the community's fantastic, but you shouldn't underestimate the power of a mob's voice or a community's voice.
So do you find you kind of have a unique challenge because of your previous work with MLG? You've kind of been the face of their brand a little bit, and so for you to come in, and do other tournaments, other events, it kind of makes the identities of these different events blur together a little bit.
Well, that's a good question because this scene is still growing. And there's only a certain amount of talented people that are in it in the talent pool. I mean, a lot of people want to be casters, a lot of people want to be talent, but there's only so many that have proven it through many years of being involved or having really honed their skills in the game or offer something that they've learned outside of esports. Like myself, in my acting career, being on stage and being in front of the camera has helped, and it has helped me to have a lot of really excellent hosting experiences that I'm so grateful I got to share with the fans and with the players. So in a sense, it was tough because people would call me like MLG Clutch or MLG Clutch, and I was like okay with that, but I'm Clutch. Like I'm a private contractor, and my goal really, of course, is I want to make a living out of esports, which is really difficult for a lot of people. And there's only a couple people that actually do that. But esports is starting to get bigger and bigger and more established, and more companies like CBS Interactive have become more involved. And I want them to know, and pretty much the whole esports world to know, that I'm ready and willing to offer my services to make any show, any league, the best it can possibly be.
All right, so just coming back to this event a little bit, what are your impressions of the crowd, the turnout, how loud it's been, and what would you say, I mean, we're just in the semifinals right now, but what would be your highlight so far in this event?
Well, first off, the crowd to me is such a huge story of this event because in many different MLGs in the past, a lot of Canadians would come up to me and say, when is an esports event going to come back to Canada? And I was like, I don't know the answer to it. I'd love to see it because we saw so many enthralled fans from Canada. And when NASL made the announcement, so many Canadian fans were so excited about it. And they weren't just talking on the internet, they physically came here. They showed up and they are rowdy, they are excited. And I have to sum up pretty much the day's events so far, even though we're past the halfway point for today, but we're not done today, is that entrance for Huck was incredible. This was a moment that Canada was waiting for. And to see the throngs of people standing on their chairs and so many of them coming to the red carpet just to get close to Huck was a sight to behold. As far as the matches, there's been some really good matches so far. I think MC is looking really strong right now, and I think it's going to be him in the finals, but we'll see.
Well, my last question was some predictions. So who's going to be taking home that first place prize?
I think it's going to be MC.
And just also, have you been following the WCS tournament closely? There's been a lot of upsets. Scarlet taking out two of the favorites, both Huck and Osji. Who do you think is going to come out on top in that tournament?
Scarlet's looking really good. Last that I had heard, she had not lost a match yet, and unfortunately not able to keep as much tabs on the WCS today as I have to keep tabs on what's happening with NASL. But I'm really excited to see these 32 players represent Canada, and I think what Blizzard's doing is something that's really incredible to create these national heroes, these national storylines that'll move further up into a international event. And these players have the opportunity to show their professional grade skills in a public format and to get noticed, and they wouldn't have some of those opportunities that Blizzard and other leagues like NASL is offering to them. So I look forward to see more of what happens today and tomorrow with the WCS.
All right, well, thank you very much, Clutch, for the interview. And guys, make sure you stay tuned to GameSpot.com for additional coverage.